Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. In this video I want to look at the presidential tag. I saw this tag executed on Janae's channel, Coffee and Copyrights. I believe it was originated by the legendary Steve Donoghue. Congratulations, Steve. I see you now have over 10,000 subscribers, which is an incredible number for this corner of booktube. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the prompt. The first president was George Washington. The prompt is, what's the first book you remember reading by yourself without any help from anybody else? There's a few books this might pertain to. There was I Know a Story, there was Once Upon a Time, but maybe it was this one, The Cat in the Hat. I had a Dr. Seuss encyclopedia, or a dictionary, which helped me learn the alphabet. And this was one of the first Dr. Seuss books I read, The Cat in the Hat. I also read Are You My Mother, Green Eggs and Ham, and I learned to read with Dr. Seuss, so this is probably the first book I read on my own. Second prompt, John Adams. What book is short but disproportionately powerful? For this I'd choose Animal Farm by George Orwell. This book is only 112 pages long, but it's an amazing satire of Stalinism, about when the pigs revolt and the animals revolt and overthrow their humans, and what happens and how the revolution goes wrong, and how the pigs come to power, and how the things they fought for in the beginning keep changing. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad became 4 legs good, 2 legs better. This is a book that was read to me in school many years ago, and I read it for myself again recently. It's a very powerful book. Prompt number 3, Thomas Jefferson. Tell us about a book you like that was written by a very bad person. For this I would say Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I love Mists of Avalon. This is a feminist retelling of the Arthurian legend, focusing on the female characters like Morgana Le Fay. It's an amazing book. It's one of the few books I've read that were over 1,000 pages long. But I've recently learnt that Marion Zimmer Bradley was a child molester, and she also enabled her husband, who is a convicted paedophile, of helping him with his crimes. So, The Mists of Avalon. Number 4, Theodore Roosevelt. Name a book that has more energy than you. Well, again, The Cat in the Hat. So much energy in this book. 5, Franklin D Roosevelt. Is there a book you've read that fundamentally changed your concept of reading? There's a couple I can think of. One is Bartleby by Herman Melville. Bartleby was a suicidal joker with a Zen passion for aphorism. The first time I read it, it really frustrated me, but I felt compelled to read it again and again. It's a powerful book. And another is Comme un roman by Daniel Pennack, which I've talked about on his channel before. Daniel Pennack outlines the rights of the reader. I'll link to that video here. And he says there's no wrong or right way of reading a book. You can read it how you want, you can skip pages, you can reread, you can read what you like, where you like, and you don't have to justify your choices to anyone. Next prompt is John F. Kennedy. What's the most glamorous IT book you have ever read? I don't usually follow the trends and more reading the backlist, but I'm currently reading Ninth House by BARDUGO, which I guess is the closest. This is a tale about Yale University and the secret societies there, and the protagonist Alex is in a group that's trying to contain these secret societies from getting out of control, and this Alex can see ghosts, and this was a popular book that a lot of booktubers were talking about a couple of years ago. Prompt number 7 is Gerald Ford. Have you ever read a placeholder book, a book that takes you from one place to another? I don't really read placeholder books. I usually have 2 or 3 books on the go at once, and these are books I want to read. They're not books to get me to another book. Prompt 8, Bill Clinton, a reading experience you loved, despite how sinful it was. Idleness, sloth, I guess, is a sin. This book can't be asked, by Richard Wilson, outlines 101 things not to do before you die. All sorts of things like visiting Machu Picchu, reading Kafka in Prague, and the reasons why you don't have to do these. Prompt number 9, George W. Bush, what's the most harmful book you've read? This could be American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. This is a very nasty book with a lot of gratuitous violence and comparing of calling cards and things. It was a horrible book. Finally, the last prompt with the last president, Barack Obama. What was the last great book you read, flaws and all? I think this would be Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. This very interesting book is completely unlike anything I've ever read before. It's beautifully written and there's so much that I'm still processing. It's a fantastic book. So that was my take on the presidential tag, and if you liked what you heard, what you saw, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.